Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Learn English with the Hobbit. In this episode, our characters are getting serious about their plan, and Bilbo is finally stepping into the role he was chosen for. The conversation gets a little more intense and humorous as Gandalf explains why burglars are better than warriors sometimes. Curious about the vocabulary? Let's jump in and find out. That would be no good, said the wizard. Not without a mighty warrior, even a hero. I try to find one, but warriors are busy fighting one another in distant lands, and in this neighborhood heroes are scarce, or simply not to be found. Swords in these parts are mostly blunt, and axes are used for trees, and shields as cradles or dish covers, and dragons are comfortably far off, and therefore legendary. That is why I settled on burglary, especially when I remembered the existence of a side door. And here's our little Bilbo Baggins, the burglar, the chosen and selected burglar. So now let's get on and make some plans. Very well then, said Thorin. Supposing the burglar expert gives us some ideas or suggestions. He turned with mock politeness to Bilbo. First, I should like to know a bit more about things, said he, feeling all confused and a bit shaky inside, but so far still tookishly determined to go on with things. I mean about the gold and the dragon and all that, and how it got there and who it belongs to, and so on and further. Bless me, said Thorin. Haven't you got a map? And didn't you hear our song? And haven't we been talking about all this for hours? All the same, I should like it all plain and clear, said he obstinately, putting on his business manner, usually reserved for people who try to borrow money off him, and doing his best to appear wise and prudent and professional and live up to Gandalf's recommendation. Fun and clever part of the story, wasn't it? Gandalf is explaining why Bilbo is actually the best choice. And Thorin, well, he's being his usual skeptical self. Before we break down the vocabulary from this scene, don't forget to like this video if you're enjoying the story, subscribe to the channel so you never miss an episode, and drop a comment below. Let me know which word or expression you like the most today. I'd love to hear from you. Now, let's take a closer look at some of the interesting words and expressions from this part of The Hobbit. Ready? Let's go. When we say mighty warrior, we're talking about a super strong and brave fighter, like someone from ancient battles or epic tales. Think of someone like Hercules or King Arthur. Gandalf wishes he had one of those for the adventure, but no luck. They're all off fighting in faraway lands. A hero is someone who does amazing and brave things, usually for the good of others. In stories, they're the ones who save the day. But Gandalf says there are no heroes around here, only regular folks like Bilbo. Or maybe Bilbo is more heroic than he looks? If you're busy, it means you're doing a lot, maybe even too much. Gandalf says warriors are too busy fighting each other to come help. That's a polite way of saying, don't expect help from those guys. Fighting means being in a battle or a conflict, either with weapons or just arguing. In this part, the warriors are literally fighting in wars, so they're not available for dragon hunting adventures. When something is distant, it's far away, either in space or time. Gandalf is talking about wars happening in distant lands. So, help isn't just unavailable, it's way out of reach. Your neighborhood is the area around where you live. Gandalf says heroes are hard to find in this neighborhood. Looks like Middle-earth suburbs aren't producing many dragon slayers these days. Scarce means there's not enough of something. Here, heroes are scarce, almost like they're on an endangered species list. That's why Gandalf has to get creative. This word is used for emphasis, kind of like saying just or plainly. Gandalf says heroes are simply not to be found, meaning don't even bother looking. A blunt sword is one that isn't sharp. It's dull. In this world, even weapons aren't ready for a fight. The swords around here are more like props than tools for battle. An axe is usually a tool for chopping wood, but here Gandalf is poking fun. People are using axes for trees, not trolls. Not exactly heroic. Trees are big plants with trunks and branches. Sounds boring? Well, not when Gandalf uses them to show how unwarrior-like everyone is. Axes and trees, yeah, no epic battles there. A shield is meant to protect you in battle. But in this case, people use them as cradles or even for covering dishes. So much for battlefield glory. A cradle is a small bed for a baby. Gandalf jokes that shields have become baby furniture. Talk about a downgrade in hero gear. These are covers used to keep food warm or protected. Gandalf says shields are now being used as dish covers. Not very heroic, unless you're defending your dinner. Comfortably means with ease or without stress. The dragons are comfortably far off, so far away that nobody's too worried about them anymore. Far off just means very far away. It sounds dreamy or distant, like something from a legend. In this case, dragons feel like old stories, until one shows up. When something's legendary, it's famous and usually from the past, like myths or heroes. Gandalf's saying dragons feel like that. Not real, just legendary. Existence means just being there, being real. Gandalf says he remembered the existence of a side door. That little fact might save them all. Chosen means someone picked you on purpose. Bilbo didn't stumble into this quest. He was picked by Gandalf. That's got to count for something, right? Selected is like chosen, but it feels even more official, like you were picked out of a lineup. Bilbo's both chosen and selected. Pressure's on. Supposing is a polite way to suggest something or ask a question. Thorin says, supposing the burglar expert gives us some ideas. He's being sarcastic, but still hopeful. This means someone is pretending to be polite, but they're actually being sarcastic. Thorin isn't really being nice to Bilbo. He's teasing him. Tough crowd. If you feel shaky, you're nervous, unsure, or even physically trembling. Bilbo often feels shaky. He's been thrown into a wild adventure way outside his comfort zone. Even if your hands aren't literally shaking, it's a word that shows deep uncertainty. To be determined means you've made up your mind to do something and nothing will stop you. Bilbo starts off nervous and unsure, but little by little, he becomes more determined. It's a great word to describe quiet courage building up. How it got there. This phrase is about wondering where something came from or how it ended up in a place. In the story, characters sometimes find strange things and ask, how did it get there? A question full of mystery and curiosity. So on and further. This is a way of saying etc., that the list continues beyond what's been said. It's like when someone is listing examples but doesn't want to name them all. So on and further. helps keep the story flowing without getting stuck in details. Bless me is an old-fashioned way of expressing surprise, like saying, "Oh my," or "wow." Bilbo says it a lot when he's shocked or overwhelmed. It adds charm to his character and makes him seem polite even when things get wild. If you do something obstinately, you're being very stubborn, refusing to change your mind even when others disagree. It's like crossing your arms and saying, "Nope, I'm doing it my way." Sometimes it's bad, but sometimes it shows strong will. A business manner means acting seriously and efficiently, like you're handling an important job. When Bilbo starts talking in a business manner, he's trying to sound confident and capable, even if he's still a little scared inside. Someone who is reserved doesn't show their emotions easily and likes to keep things to themselves. Bilbo starts out as a reserved character, quiet, polite, and not one to jump into danger. But even reserved people can do brave things. To be wise means to have good judgment and understanding, often gained through experience. Gandalf is a classic wise figure. He knows things others don't and often sees the bigger picture. It's different from just being smart. If you're prudent, you think carefully before acting, especially when there's risk. It's like being wise, but with a focus on caution. Bilbo's actions often seem small, but they're usually quite prudent. He thinks before he leaps. A professional is someone who does something skillfully and seriously, often as a job. Calling Bilbo a professional burglar is kind of funny, but it also means he's now officially part of the team, and they expect real results from him. To live up to something means to meet expectations or match a standard. When Bilbo is called the chosen burglar, he has to live up to that title, even if he doesn't feel ready. It's a phrase that shows pressure and potential at the same time. A recommendation is when someone suggests a person or idea as being good or useful. Bilbo got this job because of Gandalf's recommendation. He believed in him. So if someone gives you a recommendation, they're putting their trust in you. And that wraps up today's vocabulary adventure, folks. From brave heroes to sarcastic politeness, we explored some very colorful language in this episode. Remember, just like Bilbo, you may not feel ready for the adventure, but every step you take builds your skills. Keep practicing these words and try using them in your own sentences. I'll see you in the next episode. Until then, stay curious and keep learning.